What is up, fellas? It is week 11 NFL points, picks, and props. He is Ben O'Connell in Chicago, Illinois. That is Tommy Burch, who is a Broncos believer in Springfield, Massachusetts. I am Kyle Garlett in Denver, Colorado. We three bring you all of the picks every week. We bake the picks, we tell you about the points, and we provide you some props as well. Gentlemen, week 10, man. So we had the Buffalo Bills go down to defeat to the I forget who they lost to, but the Bills lost. The winning team is not inconsequential. It was more about the losing team in this one. Both the winner and the loser of that game are teams we can probably not even think about for the postseason.
Look, they're Super Bowl bound. What are we talking about, Kyle? The Super Bowl bound Broncos? Come on. Hey, doesn't that just have a perfect ring to it? What?
They are.
The script is good this year, Kyle. The script
currently
is
the
good.
12th seed in the AFC, going to the Super Bowl. You heard it here, folks. Go ahead and I'm going to guess that futures bet's paying some pretty good money right now. Jump on that, people. Denver Broncos, Super Bowl 58 champions, raising the Lombardi Trophy in the den of iniquity in Las Vegas.
You're making the Broncos believer look bad. Like I'm a Broncos believer, but I'm not delusional. All right.
Yeah, like I there's some people that I really like. I don't necessarily think they can walk on water. But along with the Bills losing, and the Bills now 5-5 and out of the playoffs, and all kinds of craziness going on there. The Baltimore Ravens lost, Cincinnati Bengals lost. The AFC took a bath. At least the leaders in the AFC took a bath over the course of week 10. Guys, we had 5 game-winning field goals as the clock expired. First time that's ever happened in one Sunday of NFL football. And gentlemen, that brings us to our quiz this week. It is kicker related because of how great the kickers were. We are going to test your knowledge of kickers, and everybody at home who's maybe tuning in for the first time. We use our little quiz here to determine who gets to pick first for our favorites, our top dogs, and our easy money lines at the end of the show. Tommy's been on a bit of a hot streak on these quizzes. We will see now if he can continue it on with his knowledge of NFL field goal kickers. All of these guys are people you should have heard of. Many of them played recently, some of them not so recent, but they are notable. We'll see how it goes. All right. Tommy, since you have been our champion, we will go ahead and start with you. 5 different times this kicker led the NFL in scoring, and he holds the NFL record for most consecutive extra points at 523. 523 straight extra points. He is a 3-time Super Bowl champion. Who is he?
Is it Adam Vinatieri?
It is not Adam Vinatieri. It is not Adam Vinatieri. Ben, would you? It won't get a point, but you are welcome to weigh in. Not Adam Vinatieri. You can eliminate him from this. From your guess.
I have no clue.
It was Stephen Gostkowski.
Oh, no, the other one.
Very close to being Adam Vinatieri. Adam Vinatieri's replacement in New England, but not Adam Vinatieri. So Stephen Gostkowski. Adam Vinatieri did not lead the NFL in scoring nearly as many times as Gostkowski did.
However, he is the all-time leading scorer in the NFL.
He is indeed. And that may preview one of our questions. Thanks for Tommy for giving that away.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I was just
let's start throwing out random kickers right now.
I just trying to flex my knowledge out here, Kyle.
All right, Ben, this is to you. He is one of just 4 kickers in the NFL Hall of Fame, and he played all 21 years of his career with the Cleveland Browns, winning 8 league championships. The award for the best college kicker in the nation is named for him. If you are the best collegiate kicker, what's that?
Like Rudy Gay or something like that?
Rudy Gay.
It is not player. Rudy Gay.
Oh shit, dude.
Are you thinking of Ray Guy? I don't know.
Yeah, man, probably.
He was a Hall of Fame punter, but The only punter in the Hall.
Close.
Okay,
Rudy Gay. That cracks me up.
You guys are not familiar with the Lou Groza Award?
Nope.
Lou the Toe
Damn
Groza?
it.
All right. He's a Hall of Famer. Best kicker in the nation. Gets named after.
I don't know every Hall of Famer. I mean, I've heard the name. That counts for anything.
Well, Lou the Toe Groza. All right.
Hey,
anyway,
learn something new every day,
we'll move on. All right, Tommy, this is to you. This kicker played in 4 different decades, and he was the oldest player in NFL history at 48 years, 109 days. He is a Hall of Famer with 335 made field goals and 236 career passing touchdowns.
Oh, 236 career passing touchdowns?
As well as 335 field goals. Oldest player in the history of the NFL, played in 4 decades. 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, this is it's on the tip of my tongue, but I'm not gonna get it. I know I'm not.
Ben, do you know who this gentleman is?
No.
It is the one and only George Blanda. Blanda. All right, we're running out of.
I was thinking Blankenship, like Rodriguez.
Didn't you start this by saying that these guys played recently, Kyle?
I said they played recently or are notable. Basically he was the he was like the Bobby Orr of that may be a reference also that's not good. Or never mind.
You're teaching me to read up on my kickers though. So this is a reality check.
All right. Ben, this is to you. This player was the first Norwegian in the NFL, and he was the first exclusive kicker to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Like George Blanda, for example, was a kicker and a quarterback. This guy was only a kicker. He is in the Chiefs and Packers Hall of Fame, as well as that of Montana State, where he played college football. The first Norwegian in the National Football League, Hall of Fame kicker of the Chiefs and Packers. First
this isn't
kicker
Morton
only
Anderson.
in the Hall of Fame.
This isn't Morton Anderson, is it?
It is not Morton Anderson. Although Morton Anderson did play for the Chiefs, but he was mostly a New Orleans Saint.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Tommy, do you happen to know who our first Norwegian-born NFL player was?
No, but I think that it's probably like some like Jan something. Like
it is crazy. In fact Jan Stenerud is the Jan Stenerud, number 3 for the Kansas City Chiefs, the first kicker for only to be in the Hall of Fame. Okay. All right. This is to you, Tommy, right? Yes, you're next.
Yes, sir.
This kicker was undrafted out of South Dakota State. He also holds. He went on to set the record for most field goals made in a career, most overtime field goals, and most postseason points.
Am I gonna be? It's probably bad for me to say the same guy again, but I'm just digging my own grave here. Is it Adam Vinatieri again? I don't know where
that is. Adam Vinatieri. He does hold the record for most overtime field goals at 12 and most postseason points. Adam Vinatieri. So you now have a point. Well done.
Nice.
Sorry
for ruining your question, Kyle.
Yeah, it's all right. Ben O'Connell.
Yeah.
This is our last question. You can tie it up right here.
Here we go.
Undrafted out of Penn State, this kicker ended up becoming the all-time leading scorer in Bears history, and he is most known for being perfect in the postseason, never missing on any of his 39 PATs or 29 field goals. 29 for 29 in the postseason, Bears all-time leading scorer.
Robbie Gould.
It is indeed Robbie Gould. Well done, Robbie Gould. And we have a tie.
Whoa!
Fortunately, we have a tiebreaker.
2 tiebreaker weeks in a row where we actually use it. Oh, my goodness. Kyle's happy right now.
This one you're not going to probably know, but somebody will win. All right. Russell Erxleben His name is spelled Erxleben. So we're going to go. Russell Erxleben was a 3-time All-American at Texas, and he shares the record for the longest field goal made in NCAA history at 67 yards. He was a punter and a kicker, and he set the record for being the highest drafted kicker in the Common Draft era after 1967 is when the Common Draft era started. Highest kicker taken ever in the NFL draft. What overall spot was he drafted in? Tommy, your selection first.
Round 1, pick 3.
Pick 3 goes Tommy. Ben?
He was like the 14th.
He was the 11th pick in the draft of the New Orleans Saints in 1979. Ben O'Connell wins our
There we
quiz.
go.
Ben has ended the winning streak for Tommy Burch, very much like how the Broncos ended the winning streak for the Kansas City Chiefs. Ben O'Connell doing the same thing here. All right. Just for your edification, before the Common Draft era, we had a kicker selected as high as sixth overall. Was a guy named Charlie Gogolak. By the way, neither one of those two guys who were drafted that high lasted more than 4 years in the NFL. So
Goodness gracious.
don't draft a kicker in the first round. Is the thing is
the third round is okay.
Well, that's we'll see. It's got some. I mean, we heard how many of those guys were undrafted. I mean, Adam Vinatieri, Stephen Gostkowski, those guys were undrafted. Robbie Gould was undrafted. Pretty good kickers can be found in free agency.
I think that you can draft a kicker pretty early as long as you're playing fantasy football in my league. You know what I'm saying? Go for that first rounder. Go for that first round, Elliott.
Yes, sir.
Shake Elliott. There's no other Justin Tucker in the league. You got to go for him, right? Get him early. He's going to be gone.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ben, you are going to go first. We're going to put you in the big window, move me out of the way.
So much power.
And we are going to start with your very first game. It is going to be at Lambeau Field, the Los Angeles Chargers giving 3 points.
Well, friends, it's another week of football action, and I love to start it super optimistically with the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Green Bay Packers. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I have no hope for this Green Bay team. I have them in the D tier right now of teams. And you know what? I think that LAC, they still have the makings of a good team. You know, Justin Herbert played out of his mind to try and will his team to a win against a fierce Snoil squad. All right. And he damn near pulled it off, too. The only thing standing between the Chargers and real success is their defensive-minded head coach, Brandon Staley. All right? The Chargers' defense right now ranks 27th in defensive DVOA. The Chargers have lost 4 games by 3 or fewer points this year. Staley is, in my opinion, wasting some incredible potential in this roster. The roster is fantastic. It's stacked. And with any competent coach at the helm, they would be a real contender for the Super Bowl, in my opinion. And even though I think LaFleur is the better coach in this matchup, I'm going to have to go with the LA Chargers because you know what? The rosters, the difference in skill is just insurmountable. I like the 3 points here. I think I would play it up to 5. But yeah, it's hard to get excited for the Chargers in big matchups, but against the Packers, I like them.
Yeah, no, the Chargers are not a playoff team. There's so many things about this team that are frustrating. But the Packers are they're really kind of like the boringest team in the NFL. At least with like the Bears, you get some Justin Fields, Tyson Badgett. Where are they going to draft? The Carolina Panthers have a rookie quarterback, and we're following his saga. The Arizona Cardinals now have Kyler Murray back. Bad teams. Why am I interested in the Green Bay Packers? I'm not. There's nothing interesting about them. Yeah, Jordan Love has played a little bit better, but man, he's got nobody to throw to. And I was writing about the Packers earlier this week. Christian Watson has caught 42% of the passes that have been thrown to him. Now, of the 126 receivers in the NFL that have received at least 30 targets, that ranks him 126th. Christian Watson has the fewest or the lowest percentage of catches per targets of any wide receiver in the NFL. So some of this is not Jordan Love's fault. Some of it is, but a lot of it is that there's just these wide receivers are terrible. He's getting no help, and even a bad defensive coach like Brandon Staley can handle the Green Bay Packers and the Chargers on the road. The weather's not supposed to be horrific. So, the Chargers got their trip to Green Bay. If a month from now, maybe it would have been different, but they're fine. They'll win this game. They'll cover the spread.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to defend the Chargers after giving up 200 rushing yards to two running backs, which I think amounted to less than 30 carries. So, yay, good for you. But also the Green Bay Packers. I would argue that the Patriots are the most boring team in football. But I digress.
Watching Bill Belichick just ripping his hair out one by one is kind of fun.
Doesn't have much left anyways, so he's doing himself a favor at that point. Matt LaFleur, man, what's going on? What's going on in Green Bay? We got to figure this out. I hope we don't see another Baltimore situation where they're not giving their guy receivers. Look, you're gonna draft high. You're gonna have picks. Just you're gonna have cap space because there's not a lot of star power that you're putting your money into. Spend some money in the offseason, get some receivers. But you know what the worst part is? It's not the offseason yet. It's not. You have to play the rest of the season. The rest of the season is going to be really ugly. The Chargers -3. I would even buy it up to a touchdown.
I like it. All right. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off a huge win over Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans, taking on the San Francisco 49ers, who squeaked past the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I don't even know where to start with this game. I'll be honest with you, because San Francisco's coming off of a 31-point trouncing of a much better Florida football team, right? I mean, congrats to Shake and Bake Mayfield, for ending their losing streak. But, beating a shitty Tennessee team doesn't warrant the spread being under 13.5 points. Let's be honest with ourselves here, right? This is the best defense Baker will have faced all year, and he's already proven that you don't have to be great to get him off of his game if he even truly has a game, all right? I love the 49ers -11.5 here, and I'm sure Tommy's got some strong feelings and opinions about this one.
Yeah, I have some very strong feelings and opinions about this one. I think that the San Francisco 49ers, coming out of the bye, they needed that time. They did. And you watch Brock Purdy out there, he looked so much more confident. As the game went on, you could just, there was just a different energy about him. And it's just, I think it's going to be difficult because I think that the Buccaneers offensive line is pretty good. They've allowed, I think they're top 5 in fewest sacks allowed in the NFL right now. But I think that stat is going to change, because as much as their offensive line, their pass blocking has been quite good, being quite good versus playing the most elite defensive line in the nation and one of the best that we've seen in a few years is going to be quite difficult to handle. I think the Niners 11.5 is a really big spread. I think it's a really big spread. But if any team is going to cover it, it's San Francisco.
So I know that you are saying that the 49ers are the best defensive line in football. They're not getting the sacks though like that. I mean, they're not they're not ranked. I mean, they're pretty bad at rushing the passer right now.
Well, yeah, but I think that with Chase Young in there and getting Randy Gregory rotating in, they're 2 new acquisitions. They weren't great in the first stretch of the year, but I mean, we saw last week.
Chase Young's never been that guy. Look, don't worry. I'm not suggesting that the 49ers are going to struggle. I'm just, when you the when you've got teams like the Steelers and the Chiefs and the Eagles and that are racking up sacks. Um, the 49ers definitely lead the league in like first round draft picks on their defensive line. There's no doubt about that. But they are. I want to see them put it all together. I really do, because I think that this defense. I mean, you look at the potential of them. There's so many guys on there. Any one of those guys could be a stud. They're just haven't, like Chase Young has been a largely a disappointment for in his career. I mean, he was going to be Reggie White when he came out of Ohio State, and he just hasn't been that. But the 49ers, what we've seen from the 49ers is when they're healthy, their offense is a machine. Deebo Samuel stepped right in after his absence, scores a touchdown. George Kittle goes over 100 yards, gets a touchdown. Trent Williams being back made a huge difference. And even when Brock Purdy was throwing his interceptions, he was playing well. And he didn't have any picks this last week. His interception streak is over, but he's been playing well the whole season long. This offense is, the 49ers defense is not as good as we thought it was going to be, but this offense is way better than certainly than any offense in the NFC. I think that this is the best offense, and maybe the best offense in football. When they're healthy and they're firing on all cylinders, they are as good as anybody in the NFL and better than almost everybody else in offensive football. The defense is good enough. Certainly, it's not a bad defense. It's not elite like we thought it would be, but they don't need to be because of that offense. Although, man, how do you not get Christian McCaffrey a touchdown? I know they were trying there at the end of the game to set that record. I know they got that fourth down carry, up by 31. I love it going forward on fourth down. That's the kind of thing that Kyle Shanahan would bitch about if another coach did it to him. Let's be honest. But I get it. He was trying to get his boy the record. So next November is when he'll get to 18 and he'll set the record then. I think CMC starts another touchdown streak this week. The Bucs have been pretty good against running backs in terms of touchdowns, but McCaffrey will get in the end zone. 49ers will win this game by 2 touchdowns easily.
I think if the 49ers can put it all together, I mean, we saw what the defense could do last week against a very strong offensive team, and we see flashes from the 49ers. If this team can put it together on defense and actually put those pieces to good use and see like some defensive back talent, because that's where we've struggled the most, is letting up the pass, defensive back errors and coverage, miscommunications. I don't know what it is, but if we can see what we saw last week, like at their peak through the playoffs, even just throughout the regular season, if we see flashes of that a little more than we did in the past five weeks, I think the 49ers are the best team in the NFL.
Well, they got the Eagles in a couple weeks, right? It'll be fun to see. All right. Speaking of those Jacksonville Jaguars who got pantsed at home last week, they are facing a much easier test and a much worse quarterback. Again, Will Levis, second round pick, 34th, 35th overall, versus a guy who was the last pick of the draft last week. Which of those two guys looks better to you? Jacksonville
right.
Jaguars giving up 6.5 points.
Right. This is like the loser bracket of the other game. Really, if you look at it, it's kind of weird how this all worked out. Like the script is at play or something. I don't know. But okay, listen, listeners. Sometimes you have to admit your faults in life. Maybe maybe just I got a tad bit overzealous with the Will Levis hype last week. Maybe that. But you know what, that happens from time to time. Something new and shiny comes out and you really think that it's the future and you invest heavily, and then you have to explain to all your life family members why your investments are all in Bitcoin and Dogecoin, right? Like, I don't know, dude. Sometimes you invest in dumb stuff, and that's what that was last week. Will Levis, I was really excited, but you know what? Nah. This dude is exactly what we thought he was in the combine. Uh, they let this guy air it out 39 times last week, okay? And they only put it on the ground 16. I don't know if you know this or not about this Will fellow, but he ain't the quarterback that's going to find success in that kind of situation. Especially not on the road against a division rival who's looking to bounce back from a 3-point performance. I think Jacksonville's defense is going to be able to tear apart this Tennessee offense, which will hopefully give Jacksonville's offense some time to find some rhythm, because they've been struggling a little bit. I like the Jags to get this done by at least 6.5. I could see it being 10 or more, but I'm gonna go with the Jags on this one.
Yeah. So Will Levis in his first game throws 4 touchdowns. Here we are now. He's had 3 games and he's still sitting at 4 touchdowns. So I think we understand which of the games was the outlier and which is the normal Will Levis that we're going to get. There's a reason why this guy sat in the green room all by himself while everybody else was getting drafted on draft night. The scouts knew that this is not the guy. He's not the guy, and yeah, he's a rookie. Maybe he can develop into a serviceable quarterback, but you're not going to win with a serviceable quarterback. There are maybe 12 to 13 quarterbacks who are capable of winning a Super Bowl at any given time, and he is never going to be one of those. The Jaguars, though, do have one of those guys who can win a Super Bowl, even though he's been a little up and down, and he's not taken the step forward this year that we were hoping to see from Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars' offense was supposed to be lights out with all those weapons. They haven't been that yet. And suddenly they're now in a dogfight for the AFC South. It was going to be their division to walk away with. The loss last week, the surging Houston Texans. All of a sudden, this is a decent division race. They get it done because one of the other teams in that division is the Tennessee Titans, and the Titans are terrible. And the Jaguars, all they got to do is win by a touchdown, and you got your money. So definitely go with the Jags.
Yeah, I'm all in on the Jags for this. I think Will Levis, he threw 4 touchdowns in his first game, and we all know. I feel like I sound like a broken record here, but when you put a new guy, especially at such a vital position, if you put a new guy at quarterback, the entire offense changes. You have no film on it, and let's be fair. A couple of those touchdowns that he threw were his receivers being wide open, and if he missed the read, he shouldn't be playing quarterback at any level, including like Pee Wee football. It was like the game was handed to him. That was not the Titans winning. That was the Falcons losing. That's what that game was. He looked all right versus the Steelers. I was actually okay with that because they are a very good defensive team. 260 yards, throws a pick. Everybody throws a pick against the Steelers. But throwing for under 50% completion, under 200 yards on 39 attempts, you said? And a pick against the Buccaneers, who have been a pretty below average defensive team. It just makes me lose all confidence in the guy. I was hoping for something. Especially after that off his back foot corner of the end zone touchdown in week 1. I was so excited to see something out of him, but I'm not seeing what I want to. I think he could actually be a good starting quarterback one day. I do. He has the pieces, but it's again, it's just pieces. It's potential. So right now he doesn't have that. Trevor Lawrence does. -6.5 seems easy to me.
All right, a game that I don't even think this one's going to be on TV because there's just no interest in it at all. It's the Minnesota Vikings at the Denver Broncos.
Listen, this is a game, Kyle, that you will respect it, all right? Because we've been waiting all day for Sunday night, and it will be there for you, okay? 4 weeks ago, I know no bum in this world wanted to see this game in prime time, and now we're all gonna tune in.
Why am I getting so many Broncos games in prime time? What the hell is happening here? Who are the networks? Who are these executives making these schedules? Come on.
What do you want to do? Go back to last year when they were in prime time and scoring 15? Come on, Kyle. You got to look on the bright side of life, okay? You got to look. Plus, they aren't blacking out your other games over there. Okay. Anyway,
this is their third primetime game already. Come on now, people.
we deserve it. We deserve it. Come on, it's gonna be a show.
And they've won them. They've won them.
It's gonna be a show. Come on. What are we mad about, guys? Broncos in prime time. They're breaking out the navy blues. The navy blues. Come on.
Wait, really?
We can't be. Yeah, dude. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight. Okay.
That's sweet.
No.
So with all that analysis out of the way, no, this is gonna be an insanely awesome game. I love the Minnesota Vikings narrative right now. I love this revitalization. I love Josh Dobbs. What a storyline he's had this year. Unfortunately, it's all going to end Sunday night in Denver, a mile high, and the defense is going to get, like, I don't know, 5 to 6 turnovers, because that is sustainable energy for this team. This is a sustainable resource that we can definitely count on all the time. Uh, I I don't know how they're gonna do it. It's gonna be just insane defense and a lot of disappointing drives on offense. I'm sure. Just a lot of punting it from the 40 when you got the ball at the 35. Just great tactical field position football. Uh, but the Broncos, they're turning it around. They're turning it around when you need to. I'm not sure if you guys saw this game on Monday night, but you will have seen one of, if not the best touchdowns this season. That's going to be scored this season. Did you see Courtland Sutton catch that touchdown with less than an inch between his toe in the sideline? That's skill. That's better than anything OBJ has ever done in his career. All right? It's better than anything.
Did you see that? So Next Gen Stats has, they've got their chance of being completed stat. It had a 3.2% chance of being completed. That is the lowest number of any completed pass since they've been keeping track for like the last 20 years. So it was the most improbable catch that we've seen in at least 20 years. That's how good it was.
Sounds like those statisticians at Amazon or wherever they get their stats from. Sounds like they don't know what they're talking about, because you know what? That's a 100%er with Courtland Sutton, okay? That's a 100%er, okay? He does this all the time, and he's about to. That's why he's on prime time, okay? That's why we're on prime time, to spread the Courtland Sutton love. I love him so much. I got a prop on this. He's gonna score a touchdown, okay? Because even when the odds apparently are 3% for him to do it, he finds a way and gets it done. That's paying me plus 165. That's insane. That's free cheddar right into the pocket. The Broncos, it's going to be the ugliest one ever. And Lutz is probably going to miss like 2-3 kicks. And that's very concerning. But the Broncos will get it done. That's why the line is 2 points, because it's taking into account like 3 missed PATs. So what's up with the wonky line there? We're going to take the Broncos -2. Dare I say it? No, I'm going to say it. Let's ride. Let's go. Let's go, Broncos.
There it is.
Well, the thing is that Will Lutz is Sean Payton's hand-picked kicker. You would expect when Payton goes out of his way to dump his old kicker, bring in Lutz, that Lutz feels a little bit of obligation to start making some of these kicks. Look, obviously Joshua Dobbs is a terrific story. We all like him. We all want to root for him. But before he went to Minnesota, he did lose 5 games in a row with the Cardinals. His 2 games winning streak in Minnesota is going to eventually end, and probably it's going to end on Sunday in Denver. Courtland Sutton, often referred to as the Randy Moss of the Rockies, is, of course, going to have a day. He's going to score a touchdown. I like your prop. I like the Broncos in this. I think Justin Jefferson, it looks like, is still another week away from being back for the Vikings. So they're still a little shorthanded. And Dobbs is just a little bit limited, as wonderful as the story is. The streak is going to end. And because of how good the Broncos are playing, Mile High Stadium is going to be loud. Broncos will win, and they'll cover the very, very modest point spread.
I'm in agreement here. Obviously, if you guys saw my name tag at the beginning of the show, it's hidden right now, but it says right underneath my name, Broncos Believer. If I believe in the Broncos plus 295, I'm going to believe in the Broncos against the Vikings, especially with such a much more modest point spread, as Kyle said. And I'm really, really loving your prop. I think your prop is one of my favorite props you've seen on the show so far. Plus 165 money on a guy who has – it's not about how many touchdowns he's scored, which he is tied for second in receiving touchdowns in the NFL right now. It's not about that. It's how he spreads them out. He doesn't get 3 in a game, 2 in a game, and he has like 4 games where he doesn't score. He gets 1 touchdown a game, and he's only had 2 games the entire season where he hasn't scored. That is like the odds of him not scoring are much, much lower than what the plus 165 is telling you. I'm all for it. I think he will score, especially with how the Broncos have been doing so far, and I love the Broncos -2.
Yeah, I would jump on that right now because at some point, some bookmaker is going to realize and wake up and go, why are we giving plus 165 on a Sutton touchdown? That should be like plus, 115. So, yeah, jump on it now before somebody comes to their senses and changes that. I like that.
Be careful, Kyle. We're only 3 games behind you. We're sneaking up. Shark in the water. Shark in the water.
We're not that concerned.
You lost to him. I'd be a little concerned.
The AFC West is the domain of the Kansas City Chiefs. They haven't not won the division since like 1973. So, all right. Thank you, Ben. We appreciate your help and your games there. Tommy, you go to the big square next. And speaking of those Kansas City Chiefs, that's where we're going to start. Monday Night Football Super Bowl rematch. Have you heard that both these teams have a Kelsey on it? Have you heard anybody talk about that?
No way.
That's brand new information. I know.
That's unbelievable. Well, I actually am. This game is one of the best of the season, I think. I mean, you get 2 of the elite teams, elite coached teams in the NFL off of a bye week. 2 of the favorites to make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, come on. This is a rematch. Like this is the cream of the crop of NFL football, and hopefully the gameplay goes as we hope it does. And if the script allows, it'll be a lot of fun to watch. I'm glad they gave both teams a bye before this. And it is a close spread for good reason. Both of these teams are very good. However, I think, one thing that has to be taken into account is the fact that the Chiefs are playing at home. And the home stadium of the Chiefs, Mile High is crazy. So did I say Mile High? Oh, my God.
Don't ever. I mean, we refer to Mile High as the
I just
Arrowhead
said
of
Mile
the
High.
Rockies.
I just said Mile High Stadium.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Don't bring those words over here, Kyle. Don't you dare bring that in.
But Chiefs Kingdom at Arrowhead Stadium, one of the best stadiums in the NFL. Not only just as an NFL experience, from what I've heard, but also just from a fan atmosphere. Arrowhead Stadium is also the cream of the crop. The Chiefs
loudest stadium in the world, according to Guinness Book of World Records.
Nice. But as much as I love the Eagles, I think that, again, we've talked about it before. The Eagles, they have a very good record, but they're not as dominant as they were last year. And their team is statistically the worst against wide receivers in the NFL. And that concerns me because, I mean, the Chiefs' biggest issue is their receiver room. And if you give the lack of talent room to work, and you give Mahomes some gaps to throw the ball, I think he's going to air it out. And I think this is going to be one of his best passing games of the season. I could see him passing for over 350 yards, maybe 3 touchdowns. I'm really excited to watch this game, but I just have to pick the Chiefs here because their one weakness happens to also be the Eagles' weakness on defense.
Well, yeah, when they played in February, the game was 38-35. It was back and forth. It was incredible. I suspect that we're going to see something similar to that, where it's going to come down to a last-second field goal. That's where the home stadium and the home crowd can really play a factor. Obviously, I want the Chiefs to win. What I love about this Chiefs team right now is just the way their defense is playing. Their defense is just playing lights out. It's really, one of the top 5 defenses in football right now. And that's, you give me Patrick Mahomes and a great defense, and you can survive a bad wide receiver room. And I mean, they're the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. Of course, the Eagles are the number 1 seed in the NFC. These are the 2 best teams in football at the moment. Taylor is down in South America on her tour, so she's not going to be there. But word is that her parents are going to be at the stadium, and Travis Kelce's parents are going to be at the stadium, and so we're going to have the Swifts and the Kelce's meet for the first time on Monday night. That to me says Travis has 135 yards and 2 touchdowns. I also look for Rashee Rice to have a big game. He is starting to become the go-to wide receiver for Patrick Mahomes. And of course, as you mentioned, Tommy, we're coming off a bye. Andy Reid, 28-4 when coming off of a bye. You give Andy Reid an extra week to prepare. Yes, the Eagles also had a bye, so they're going to be healthier as well. But Nick Sirianni's still figuring it out. Andy Reid knows how to handle the bye week. Chiefs win. Andy Reid goes to 29-4 with an extra week to prepare.
All right. Even though I'm not a big fan of the Chiefs, I will say Arrowhead Stadium. What a place, huh? What a place. If you're ever catching yourself a Chiefs game, yeah, do yourself a favor. Go to section 132. Behind it, go to the Foolish Dog. Get yourself a foot-long KC Wolf. It's a foot-long hot dog with barbecue brisket and fried onions on top, slathered in barbecue sauce. Thank me later. Tweet me a picture because that's the only good thing at Arrowhead Stadium. Okay, God damn it.
They're like $25 too.
I did 15. They're good folk over there in the Missouri. I'll tell you what. But gee, this is gonna be an amazing football game. It's super fun. Another random hot dog story. I know that this is what this podcast is all about. Is about football and hot dogs. But while we were recording the episode last week, Jason Kelce was actually frequenting, or was at the comedy club in which I often frequent, just a few blocks up the street, and made his way down to a Chicago classic, the Wiener Circle, in which he got into a roast battle with the cashier. Called her Michael Strahan and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, it was awesome.
So
And because of that trash talk, I have to tell you, I think Jason Kelce's got the edge in this one. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to cover 2.5 here. He's going to get into Travis's head, talking about how his girlfriend ain't there, mama ain't there to save him. I'm going to go with the Eagles,
Circle?
but just the Wiener
Eagles
Circle.
win because of the Wiener Circle. All right, yep.
Dude,
now, if you're not listening to the New Heights podcast, you're missing out. It's the two of them are fantastic together. They are hysterical. Definitely, Jason Kelce is. I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's a great player, but he's also just one of the great personalities in the NFL, and so easy to root for. They're fun. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game. And it may be a game that we, see played out again next February. Who knows? But it'll be a lot of fun. And we've spent enough time talking about my Chiefs. As much as I could do this all day, we'll save that for the Chiefs podcast. Check out tomorrow. We're going to just the three of us for an hour, just talking Chiefs football. We're going to do the quiz is going to be numbers worn by Chiefs linebackers in the 1970s. Will be a really good quiz.
Yeah.
I am being held hostage. I need help.
All right. Washington Commanders are a 10-point favorite because the New York Giants are god awful at football.
Yeah. This is wild. Isn't Tommy DeVito still starting?
He is indeed. Yes. Tommy DeVito.
Yeah. And actually, I'm going to give Tommy DeVito a little credit. He didn't look too terrible. I think it was a lot of play calling. I mean, he threw 2 touchdowns, even though he threw for less than 100 yards. Correct. It was kind of an atrocious game. And if as much as who did we call the most boring team in football again?
That was the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, if the Green Bay Packers are the most boring team in football, the Giants are like the most cringe-worthy, unwatchable team in football. I would rather watch the Packers play football than watch the Giants as a fan of the game, just because I just can't stand watching the ridiculousness. Like when they had, I think, Saquon was in the Wildcat, and then I don't know what happened. He had the ball. He was running like a stretch play to the right, and his offensive lineman was looking at him, like turned around, staring at him, and he had to push him to turn him around and block in front of him. This Giants team is just a joke, and the Commanders. I mean, as much as the Commanders' record isn't all that, I mean, they're 4-6, right? But they're probably one of the better 4-6 teams in the NFL. Sam Howell looks incredible. I mean, he looks like he blew away all of our expectations as to what he was going to be this year. A lot of people were questioning why they were going to start him going into the season off of one game and no experience. And then he comes in here and now he's leading the league in passing yards. I mean, I just gotta credit to the young guy. I mean, good for him, man. And that's going to be the downfall of this Giants team. I think that Sam Howell is going to have the best game of his career tonight. Not tonight, sorry, Sunday night. I think, is it Sunday afternoon?
Sunday afternoon.
What time is the game?
I believe that's an early game.
Is it like a 1 p.m., something like that?
Yeah. 1 p.m.
Sam Howell is going to look back at this game after, like, maybe one day he wins the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is going to be his second favorite game of all time. He's going to remember this game as like backyard football on Thanksgiving with his family. That's what this was. Easy pickings. The New York Giants, I'm never picking them ever. I don't care who they play. Commanders -10. I would even buy this. I could see the Commanders winning by 20.
Well, so last week, the Giants were outgained by 468 yards. They didn't allow 468 yards. That was the differential. They allowed 640 yards. As you mentioned, Sam Howell on a streak. He's gone over 300 yards 3 straight weeks. I think he goes over 400 yards in this one, and the Commanders roll. Leading the league in passing yards, who's his offensive coordinator? Eric Bieniemy. Who led the NFL in passing yards last year? Patrick Mahomes. Who was his offensive coordinator? Eric Bieniemy. I think there's a trend here. Eric Bieniemy loves to throw the rock, and he's now got a guy who can throw the rock. I was talking to you guys earlier in the week. I was rewatching that game against the Seahawks, and I love the way Howell plays. Just the way he stands in the pocket when he's up. I mean, he's got guys flying all around him. He just hangs in the pocket. It doesn't have happy feet like some quarterbacks get, some young quarterbacks get. I mean, this guy's only a second-year quarterback, but he doesn't play like that. I really like this Commanders team. Once they get rid of that stiff Ron Rivera, I think that this team really can take off. And certainly in this game, they're going to roll. The Giants may finish the season with the number 1 pick because they're just that bad.
Can I just quickly chime in? As much as I think that the passing attack from the Commanders is incredible, and Eric Bieniemy obviously loves to pass the ball, but even in the running game, I think that they're still quite serviceable. I mean, Brian Robinson, this year he's only played 10 games so far. Last year he played 12. He has 80 less carries, and he has 300 less yards, but he has 5 touchdowns, 3 more than he had last year. And he's averaging, I know it's not by much, but he's averaging more yards per carry. He's effectively running the ball when it's given to him. He has 3 more touchdowns in 2 less games played. So not only is the passing attack great, but their running game has improved.
And they do a good job of getting Antonio Gibson involved in the passing game too. So their other running back gets in there a lot as well. And as we said earlier in the year, Brian Robinson having the best season of anybody who's ever been shot the season before. And you can check that stat. That is a true stat. I love Brian Robinson. This whole offense really is good. And they're fun. They're a very fun team to watch.
Watching Brian Robinson play makes me almost want to get shot in the leg. I don't know, dude. Maybe I could come back and be super fast. I don't know, man. Come back tougher. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, whatever they say. I like the Washington Commanders to cover 10 in this one. I think it's crazy that the spread is that low. If San Francisco, Tennessee is like, 11.5, I think that this should probably be sitting around 12 probably. What happened to Ron Rivera, huh? You remember when he was back in 2015 when he was a fun coach and we called him Riverboat Ron and he was just doing all the dicey things and now he's like the old man conservative, just
Yeah.
like can't do anything on the field. It's crazy. I do look forward for the New York Giants next week to play a more formidable opponent, more of equal caliber in Coastal Carolina or so whatever Sun Belt team that they should be playing. Um, I'm gonna take the Commanders to easily cover 10 here. For all the points that you guys made, just offensively, they have an offense and the Giants have like a Model T. You know what I'm saying? It's just no pickup in that thing.
Now, Ron Rivera got broken by your Broncos in Super Bowl 50. I think that he hasn't been the same since he watched Cam Newton watch that fumble and just make a business decision and not try to cover it. I think
God,
that killed him.
that's
All
got to be
right.
a weird memory for Carolina fans.
Yeah.
That's gotta be a weird feeling. He was doing the Chunky Soup commercials with where he's the Superman. You remember that? And
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. Good memories.
All right. The Buffalo Bills. You are going with the New York Jets. Buffalo apparently not finding the answer this week with Ken Dorsey out as offensive coordinator.
I think we spoke about it. I don't know if we spoke about it before the show or on the show, but Ken Dorsey, losing Ken Dorsey, I think is a negative for the Bills organization. He was pretty good at his job. I'm not going to say he was incredible, but he's pretty good at his job. And I mean, he was endorsed by Josh Allen, which is obviously something that Kyle mentioned when we were speaking about it. But the Jets, as much as the Jets stink on offense, they really, really stink. The Bills are such a disappointment, and this is a fun little stat for you guys. Would you guys like to know the Bills' record in their last 6 games when it comes to the spread, covering the spread? They are
0-6.
bingo.
0-6.
There we go.
In fact,
0-6.
I looked that up. That's the first time that's happened since 1977.
1977. Oh my goodness! Wow, they are 0-6 in the last 6 weeks on covering the spread, which is unbelievable. Now the Jets are not too great, against their AFC counterparts, especially on the road. They haven't been so great. I don't know the exact number, but I don't think they've won a game in quite a while. But the one thing that I can count on is the Bills not covering the spread. And the Jets do keep games close. I mean, as much as they stink on offense, they are quite a good defensive team, and they make offenses look a lot worse. And this game is going to be closer. I still expect the Bills to win. Okay, whatever. It's not going to be a fun game to watch. And it's going to be I would expect this to be maybe like an 18-13 kind of game. It's not going to be a lot of fun, but the Jets are going to cover for sure.
Well, so the Bills are third in DVOA on offense. They are 21st in DVOA on defense. So Sean McDermott, you fired the wrong guy. You should fire the guy in charge of the defense. Oh, wait, that's you, because you kicked Leslie Frazier to the curb and decided to take over the defense, and now your defense is bottom third in the league. Good job in firing your offensive coordinator. That should fix things. So look, not only does Josh Allen lead the NFL in turnovers this year, in his 10 career games against the New York Jets, he has thrown 10 interceptions and he has 7 lost fumbles. That is 17 turnovers in 10 games for one guy. One guy against the Jets. The Jets now have beaten the Bills in 2 of their last 3 games. Zach Wilson starting for both of those wins. Zach Wilson has 2. The one that the Jets lost to the Bills last year was Mike White at quarterback. So Zach hasn't lost to this team since 2021. So the Jets always play the Bills tough. It's like back in the day when the Dolphins always played the Patriots tough, even though the Patriots were winning Super Bowls. The Bills are the better team, but the Jets always play them tough. You got more than a touchdown. If this was a 6-point spread, I'd be cautious about it, but you got more than a touchdown to play with. And you've got the turnover machine, Josh Allen. and really a defense that is Super Bowl caliber for sure, going against Josh Allen. I like the Jets to cover the spread. Bills probably eke out a win at home. I mean, they were so close to eking out a win last week. They may get this W, but it's not going to be by a lot. I like your pick here, Tommy.
I also have my prop for this game. Forgot to mention that.
You do indeed. I'm going to get that up here for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of interceptions.
Yeah, perfect timing. I have Zach Wilson and Josh Allen both over half an interception, plus 162 money. Both of these guys individually, if you were to bet on them, are very, very comfortably in minus money for throwing a pick this game. I mean, we're talking about Josh Allen, who's having the craziest interception streak of my recent NFL viewership. And Zach Wilson has a negative touchdown to interception ratio. Zach Wilson is statistically more likely to throw an interception than he is a touchdown. And Josh Allen has thrown an interception in how many games straight?
I don't know the stat on that.
Zach's
good to throw an interception on a screen pass. I mean, that's so yeah, you're good on that one for sure.
6-game interception streak from Josh Allen, and Josh Allen has only not thrown an interception in 2 games this season. So this is like if I'm gonna promote any prop, and I know that props haven't necessarily been my cup of tea this year. I think this one was just like this was a comfortable pick for me. Like I was searching for something that I could be reliable on, and this feels very reliable, and you're getting it in plus money.
That's good. Well, plus 162 for two events that should happen. Yeah, that's great.
Well, and you guys know, as I always say in the chat, when I build these same game parlays, Josh Allen interception, that's just free money, right? I put that on everything. I call it ranch dressing because I put it on everything, guys. Like it's crazy. Yeah. I love the Josh Allen interception.
How can I pump up this parlay? Oh, Josh Allen interception. That just all of a sudden it just shot up another plus 200.
It's nice. It's nice. I love the Zach Wilson interception. I love this prop. I love the spread pick too. I'm with Kyle. If I was looking at 6.5, I'd probably stay away from it just because you could see that one touchdown win. But if you're getting them at 7.5, go with the Jets all day. Because ain't it weird to say, but Zach Wilson owns this team or whatever, right? So I'm gonna take the Jets. But yeah, dude, what a good prop.
Now he treats the Buffalo Bills like one of his mom's friends. All right.
Oh my God.
All right, we're moving on from that one. We've got the Houston Texans hosting the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, this point spread is insane to me because I mean we're talking about the Cardinals that are one of the worst teams in the NFL, and the Houston Texans who are on the rise. And okay, like cool. You beat the Falcons with Kyler Murray, like that's fine. Kyler didn't have a very good game, if we're being real here. Like, yeah, he ran in for a touchdown, but we're talking about a Falcons team that let up 4 touchdown passes to Will Levis. If Will Levis can throw 4 touchdown passes to you, and then against you, and then Kyler Murray throws 0 touchdowns and an interception against you, that makes me worry a little bit about, your quarterback's integrity. And also, I'm pretty sure the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare game came out today. So
that came out last week.
Oh, did it come out last week? Oh, he's grinding on ranked this weekend. What are you even talking about? This guy is not locked in. But Kyler, I don't think that we're gonna see like an incredible like second half of the season from him. He missed a whole lot of time. No preseason. Like he's been out. He's been recovering. And the Texans have just been so consistent. And CJ Stroud is a bona fide MVP candidate right now. I mean, he has the best touchdown to interception ratio in the NFL. There's not a single guy in the NFL that's throwing 14 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. I mean, he looks elite. And not from a rookie standpoint. He's not an elite rookie quarterback. He is an elite quarterback Period. Period. There's no debate, I think, at least in my mind. And if anybody tries to debate it, I don't think they really know football that much. This guy is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. He's the reason why the Texans and D'Amico Ryans are on top right now. And I think the pick of C.J. Stroud is going to help D'Amico Ryans win the Coach of the Year. This Texans team is only going up. I think this is a playoff caliber team right now. And one thing we can all agree on is that the Cardinals are not.
Well, if the season ended today, the Houston Texans would in fact be in the playoffs. And everything you've said about CJ Stroud is true. He's not just a great rookie quarterback. He's a great quarterback. He leads the NFL in yards per game, 291 yards per game. He has 43 completions of 20 yards or more. That's first in the NFL. His air yards per attempt is second in the NFL. This is not a guy who's dinking and dunking and just learning his way through the NFL. This is a guy who goes downfield, who's always looking to go downfield. And he's got some great weapons, and Tank Dell's been fantastic. Nico Collins has been fantastic. The pickup of Dalton Schultz really has helped this offense roll. Obviously, they've got Damian Pierce at running back, who's been in and out of the lineup. But, man, there's a lot to like about this team. However, each of the last 2 weeks when they won, it took the final play of the game. Their margin for error right now is pretty small. They were one play away from losing to the Buccaneers. They were one play away from losing to the Cincinnati Bengals. And you remember what happened in the game before those two games? They lost to the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers' lone win came against this Texans team. This Texans team lost to the Atlanta Falcons that just lost to the Arizona Cardinals. I think this Cardinals offense is much different with Kyler Murray in there and with James Conner back. And I think now I've at 4 points, it's a little dicey, but I've seen some spreads going up to as many as 5.5 on the Texans. I think if you can find 5.5, 5 points, I would go with the Cardinals to cover this spread, because while I think the Texans will win, I do think that Kyler Murray and James Conner will help keep this game close. Trey McBride, holy cow, Trey McBride. He just went over what he had 135 yards at tight end. That was the first Cardinals tight end to go over 100 yards since the 1980s. It is not a made-up stat. That was the first Cardinals tight end in 35 years to go over 100 yards. So you got Trey McBride now. I mean, there's some things to like about this Cardinals team. They're going to play themselves out of the first overall pick. I don't think they win this game, but I do think they keep it close. But CJ Stroud, runaway MVP or runaway Rookie of the Year, and if they do make the playoffs, he should get some MVP votes for sure.
And we always encourage the viewers to shop their picks. And obviously, if -4 isn't what we're looking for, that -5.5, I agree. If we're hitting that kind of number, I'm going Cardinals. But I'm just picking off of the number that I've been given.
You were given 4.
Viewers,
you got to take that.
Viewers, you're not stuck at this number. You go shop, go look. If in the wild chance that you happen to find a -6 somewhere, that is easy money. I would smash that.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes. We set these spreads early in the week so that we all are working from the same point spreads. And obviously the point spreads change between the time we give them to each other early in the week, but when we record, and then certainly by Sunday. So so Tommy's stuck at 4 because that was the spread on Tuesday. But obviously the spreads change, and always shop for the best spreads, of course. Thank you for a good point on that, Mr. Burch.
I think you should find the worst spread. No, screw that advice. No, I completely agree with you guys. I love the Texans, and I like the Texans. I'm agreeing with Tommy here. I will say though that C.J. Stroud is exactly who the Bears thought Justin Fields was gonna be, and ain't that incredible to watch? I love watching C.J. Stroud play football. For me, the big difference in this game is just what are you playing for in motivation at the end of the day. I think that if the Texans can find some early scores, It wouldn't surprise me to see a Cardinals team, as a couple guys start making some business decisions and stuff. Uh, I'm gonna go with the Texans at that 4 number. But yeah, the hostility of the line or volatility of the line, I definitely could see me play either side.
Well, and back to your point, Tommy, D'Amico Ryan's coach of the year, absolutely. I mean, this team had some fight in it at the end of last year. The Texans were playing teams close, but man, what a rookie head coach that he's turned out to be. Yeah, he's a stud, and he deserves a world of credit for what he's done in Houston. All right. Speaking of top draft picks at quarterback, the Carolina Panthers hosting the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have a 3rd-round draft pick at quarterback. Panthers have the number 1 overall pick. Tommy, weigh in on those 2 gentlemen and this game.
On those 2 gentlemen, I think, well, first of all, I don't think that all the blame should be placed on Bryce Young for his performance. He is playing pretty okay with what he's been given. Play calling hasn't been there. Talent is not there. Blocking is not there. The run game isn't there, so it's difficult to set up the pass attack. They're kind of, on the shoulders of Bryce Young right now to win these games. And if we're being fair, Bryce Young really hasn't had to deal with that as a quarterback in when he was in college. I mean, he had all that talent around him. He got put on a team that is worse than the Alabama teams he played with when he was in college. And I am a sole believer that if that Alabama team played against the Carolina Panthers, that they would win. I don't think Bryce Young's bad. Not much he can do with it. I think an off season would help. But one thing about the Cowboys are just incredible right now. I mean, and they have the benefit of playing one of the worst teams in the NFL, possibly by the end of the year, the worst team in the NFL twice every year. So then they get to go straight from demolishing the Giants and directly into playing a team that has a worse record. So I mean, you go from one bad team to another. It's just cupcake games, man. This is like if Bryce Young was at Bama and then he goes and plays like South Dakota State and like Eastern Illinois. This isn't a lot of fun. I think the Cowboys are just going to put another beating down. I think that if I was a player on the Cowboys right now, I would be like not even worrying about this game because they just put a beat down on the Giants. Just eating good before the game. He's probably not going to play the whole thing. If you're a starter offensive lineman, you're probably going to get subbed in after the 3rd quarter. Panthers are going to get demolished here. Dak Prescott is having the best year of his career. And there's been a lot of talk about Dak Prescott not being that guy. And he does have a lot of talent this year. But, I mean, the guy he's 2,400, 17 touchdowns, and only 6 picks. He's not double digits like Josh Allen, and he's been one of our biggest flaws with Dak has been his turnover rate. And 3 of those picks came in the same game to the 49ers. And outside of that, he's only thrown picks in 3 different games. I think Dak is going to continue to have probably the best year of his career, and he could go down by the end of the season as an MVP candidate.
No, the Cowboys are playing great. CeeDee Lamb, 3 straight games of at least 10 catches, 150 yards. That's the first time that's ever happened in the NFL. Good chance he makes it 4 games in a row. Yeah, I mean, the Panthers are terrible. We're not really getting a chance to know if Bryce Young can be a good quarterback because there's just nobody around him. This is the problem with when you're in quarterback purgatory like the Panthers were, where you reach. They were like, well, we have a top 10 pick. Let's go ahead and trade up to number 1 so that we can get the guy we want. But in doing so, they had to strip down some of their team and send away DJ Moore. And man, you watch the Panthers play and you think to yourself, if only Bryce Young had a DJ Moore on this team, we might actually get a chance to see him play some good football. And so the Panthers have reached up there. You know, I look back and I mean, Frank Reich was good back 3-4 years ago, but I'm not seeing anything from this offense that's impressive. Some of it's personnel, but a lot of it, as you said, Tommy, the coaching is just not there. I'm unimpressed by the Panthers. I mean, this is only for Reich's first year with him. I would imagine that he survives and goes on to a second year. But boy, I just don't like much of what they do. And the Cowboys right now look good. Cowboys will roll in this one, and you'd be silly to take the Panthers.
Hear me out, gentlemen. I am going to be playing personally an alternate spread on this one. This is the inside look. Ben's big bet of the week. Okay, don't take that. That's good branding right there.
Ben's big bet.
I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys to cover 19.5. They have covered 20 points like 4 or 5 times this season. They've done it against the Giants twice. They did it against the Patriots. They did it against the Jets. They did it against the Rams. Right? That's 5 or something like that. I can math. It's paying plus 231. Okay. Uh, and honestly, they just blow out bad teams. Their close games are against competitive teams, and the Panthers just aren't. I like a giant blowout here. I'm going to take them at minus 19.5. And since I'm going to take them at minus 19.5, 10.5 is more than enough of a payday for me. That's my pick on this game. Yeah, dude. Cowboys win big.
All right. Thank you, Tommy. My 4 games now here to end our show. Starting off with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns. We are recording this show on Thursday. The Browns woke up to news that Deshaun Watson, or this was yesterday maybe, Deshaun Watson done for the year. Wednesday, Deshaun Watson going to have surgery, going to be out for the rest of the season. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to be the starting quarterback. And if we remember, he did have a start earlier this year. The Browns scored 3 points. He threw 3 interceptions against this Pittsburgh Steelers team, which leads the NFL in takeaways with 18. It's not going to be good. The Browns can run the football still, but it's going to be, everybody's going to be stacked in the box now because the rookie quarterback is Amari Cooper's been playing out of his mind, but I'm surprised that the Browns are still favored by a point, to be honest with you. I would have thought that this would have swung to the Steelers by 2 or 3 points. So I'm going to take the Steelers for sure on the road to get this one done.
I'm actually looking at DraftKings right now, and they actually have it at minus 1.5 for the Browns. So I guess Deshaun Watson leaving has a positive impact on the team's winning percentage, which makes absolutely no sense to me. As much as that I hate that man as a human being, he's not a terrible football player. And DTR has only proven himself in the regular season to be subpar. And the Steelers, I mean, he threw 3 picks in the game, and now he's playing against probably the best defense in the NFL. And as much as, I mean, it's 2 of the best defenses in the NFL. I think it's probably 1 and 2, or at least 1 and 3, both in the top 5. And if I'm going to bet anything here, it's the under. I mean, the over-under is looking like around 33. I don't know if you see that as well.
Let me see. I've got 33. Yep.
Yeah, 33. If I'm going to bet anything here, it's the under. I mean, it's absolutely the under. Even at 33,
17-14 is the high end. So
yeah. So, but the Steelers, with their starters, I mean, they're healthier. They started Jalen Warren, and Jalen Warren looked pretty darn good, to be honest with you. He's much more. What's the word? He has a lot more versatility in the backfield rather than Najee Harris. I think that as much as the Steelers' offensive play calling woes are going to haunt them for the rest of the season, and there's no way they have any postseason success with it, they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I I really like the Steelers. It's it. You never wish for anyone's injury, but I will say it's nice that Watson's injury came through because now you can cheer and bet for the Browns and not feel like some kind of weird moral ethical dilemma or something. Not that I'm going to be doing it anytime soon. I mean, like their offense is a complete train wreck. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it's crazy that the line is moving. I have no idea where people are putting their money, but if you are thinking of even going on that Browns line, hey, listen to us. Don't stay away from that. Remember dare. Just say no. Just say no.
All right. Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. Now, we have 4 different double-digit point spreads in this week, but except for this one, which I think absolutely should be the 5th double-digit point spread. The last time the Lions played the Bears, they won 41-10. This is a better Lions team than that team last at the end of last season. I know that Justin Fields is back. I don't care. That's not going to make any difference. It's going to be a bloodbath. The Lions offense just ran up and down the field on the Chargers. They're going to do it again. They're back home at Ford Field. This is their little gear up before they host their Thanksgiving. This is a stretch of the year you don't want to face the Lions. And now that the Lions are good and now that the Lions have an explosive offense, you really don't want to face them if you are a terrible football team like the Chicago Bears. This should be a couple touchdown 17-point win for the Lions. And I think the Lions are going to get back into the 40s. And in that vein, I have a proposition bet for this game. I am going anytime touchdowns for Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery, and Sam Laporta. All 3 of those guys are getting in the end zone. That's paying me plus 1,011. Plus 1,011 for St. Brown, Montgomery, and Laporta touchdowns. The Lions are going to score 5 or 6 touchdowns. These are the 3 guys who are their main touchdown guys. They're going to all get in the end zone. Last week I told you Cowboys cover the spread at halftime and the spread goes over. That was paying you plus 400. If you put your house down on that, you now own 4 houses. Put your house down on this. You're going to take those 4 houses, put them on this. You'll have 40 houses. You're going to have 40 houses after this game is over. When Sam Laporta gets his 4th quarter touchdown and completes this parlay, 40 houses.
Wow, this is
science.
You're just
math. Just doing math.
The wives of the football fans are not going to be too happy if you guys do not hit this prop. However, this prop seems kind of nice to me. I'm not going to lie to you. So if you're going to put the house down on anything, might as well be this. I don't know if you guys heard the story about the guy who needed $2,500 for bail, and all the money he had, he put down on I don't know if it was NFL or NCAA football, and
it was a mix. It was a nice little mix. It was a good run. And
he made all his money to pay his bail and didn't get incarcerated. So that was pretty sweet. That's what this is, right? I love the prop. I actually think this is one of the more fun props that we've had. And yes, the Lions -9. I'm buying points on that for sure. I love the Lions team this year. Quite possibly the best offense in football right now. At least the most consistent for sure. And they have just talent scoring wise on every end of their skill position lineup. I mean, you have 2 running backs that would be superstars for any team in the league. Your offensive line is the best offensive line in the NFL. Your quarterback had one of the best revitalization stories out of any quarterback in the NFL. Not only are the Lions very good, but everybody's rooting for them. And there's just no negatives to rooting for this Lions team. -9 seems so easy.
And St. Brown is the best wide receiver nobody ever talks about. He is consistent. He is just always making plays. I love him.
I love the Detroit Lions -9 here. And I love that prop. Let me start it off. That is an amazing prop. I bet 2 of the 3 legs hit before halftime. Are you kidding me? This is going to be a bloodbath for Detroit. My one gripe with the Chicago Bears is they and the Carolina Panthers last Thursday in prime time tried to make me hate the sport of football. They did. Did you see that? I wish I hadn't. Okay, that's one of those
They
games where you
did.
go, that's time that's down the
Yeah.
drain, man. But you know what? I'm gonna enjoy watching this Snoil beat the living piss out of them this week. I like the Detroit Lions -9.
All right. The Seattle Seahawks are at the Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford is back. And I like the Los Angeles Rams to complete the season sweep. You may remember they went into Seattle in week 1. They won big 30-13. Matthew Stafford he's been banged up, but he's going to play this week. I think that makes Cooper Kupp started off gangbusters when he came back. He's kind of slowed down a little bit, but I think he finds his rhythm again. I like the Seahawks team. It's not a shot against the Seahawks. I think they're a playoff team. I think that they are in the wild card again, as they were last year. But I don't know. I feel good about this Rams game for this Sunday, and I think Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp both have good games, and yeah, I just like the Rams with at home and with Stafford back.
The Rams are due for a win. I mean, we've just had some bad luck with Stafford coming out, and we all know Stafford's one of the hardest working, and he's one of the most resilient players in the NFL. He breaks ribs, breaks hands, tears ligaments. He's still on the field, right? Seeing him come back and hopefully at full capacity, I think he has a chance to win this game. I would like the Rams to win. However, I do think the Seahawks overall, I don't think that just because they won big early in the year, and that was the first game of the season, it's week 1. And we all know week 1 can be a wash. Week 1 doesn't mean anything for the most part. And I just think the Seahawks team is really rallied together. And if we're even when Matthew Stafford was playing, they weren't winning all these games, right? Only 2 of these losses or 3 of these losses came from backup quarterbacks, and one of the games he played for most of it. They're 3-6, and the Seahawks, you flip that around, 6-3. Their defense is formidable. Their offense is fairly consistent. Geno isn't as good as he was last year, but he's still pretty good. I have to go with the Seahawks winning this game.
Tommy, you forgot one of the secret sauce ingredients, all right? The Rams are coming off of a bye week, all right? Oh, the bye week advantage. Hello. Listen, we do like to joke about it on the show, but I do think that the bye came at a very good time for the Rams. They're coming off of a 3-game loss streak. Not really in the best place. This gives them some time to reset, refocus, go out there and play an opponent that they've already beaten, so that that this is something that you can go do. You can go turn the ship around. I think it should be a good game. I agree with the odds makers. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to side with the LA Rams and the power of the bye week here.
Well, and I think one of the edges that goes to the Rams is because they now have a backup quarterback who was just one injury away from being an MVP. And when you've got that kind of quality of backing up Matthew Stafford, you're going to win. I think there should be no qualms about Stafford having to go sit on the bench. You just throw Carson Wentz in there and you let him do his magic. Right? Everybody agree? Carson Wentz magic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He's a proven winner. He's a proven winner.
Proven winner. Got a Super Bowl ring. He's got a ring. All right. I don't know if does Brett Rippon have a ring because he was terrible. Final game for us. It's the Miami Dolphins. They are off their bye after their trip to Germany. The Las Vegas Raiders smoking cigars and celebrating in the locker room because they beat 2 of the 3 worst offenses in the NFL in the New York Giants and the New York Jets. The New England Patriots are the other of the 3 that are the worst in the league. Yeah, so well done. You jettisoned that stiff Josh McDaniels. Anthony Pierce seems to have the ear of his players. Of course, we've been down this road before. We know the Raiders are going to find themselves a great interim head coach. He's going to rally the team, and then Mark Davis is going to kick that guy to the curb because he wants the shiny toy. He did this a couple years ago. Anthony Pierce has no chance of actually being hired by the Raiders. Doesn't matter how many games they win. And now they go to the best offense in football. So they beat the Giants, who average 11 points a game. Now they're playing a team that averages 31.5 points a game, and at home. Now I know it's a little inflated because of the game against the Broncos, but at home, the Miami Dolphins are 4-0, and they average 43.5 points at home. So it wasn't just the Broncos game. They've scored a lot of points at home. They're going to score a lot of points in this one. There is absolutely no chance at all that Aiden O'Connell is going to keep up with him, with the Dolphins offense. Yes, Josh Jacobs is starting to look like last year's Josh Jacobs, which is nice. I like Josh Jacobs. He looks like a guy who did win a rushing title a year ago. Not enough. Achan was actually at practice. I don't know that he's going to play, but it doesn't matter. There's so many good, fast guys in this Dolphins team. They roll at home in this one, especially with the Bills losing. They smell blood in the water. They feel like that they can clinch this division here before the end of November. They're gonna go out and just kick the crap out of the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, Antonio Pierce, like, he came in, and I like what he's doing with the team. I like the energy he's instilled. He's made Raider Nation what it is supposed to be. But their last two games, the only two games they've played with Pierce as head coach, both of them at home at Allegiant, and they played against both New York teams. They were able to sit after getting back from that loss to the Lions and firing Josh McDaniels on Halloween. They got to sit for 3 weeks in little old Las Vegas, right? Didn't have to travel, just playing pretty mediocre teams, just scraping by. But now this is where the NFL hits, right? This is the National Football League. Now you're traveling across the country, right? And now you're playing one of the best teams in the NFL, at least one of the best teams in the AFC. I don't see a world where the Raiders are in this game. Because no interim head coach can give you enough spark and spur to just will you a win with just less talent, less talent on both sides of the ball. I mean, you start Aiden O'Connell and Tua Tagovailoa are just two completely different breeds of players, guys. Like, Aiden O'Connell is just, he's in there just because they got nobody else. Like, he's just like an emergency at this point. But Tua is the franchise, right? I Miami minus 12.5 just seems so easy.
You know why I like this game, guys? Do you gentlemen know? Because
Wow.
I enjoy the fact that after this game, the Raiders will have a nice long WAS flight back, a WAS, a we ain't shit flight. It's going to be smoke free, just sitting there remembering everything that just happened to them when the Miami Dolphins put up 75 and make what they did to the Broncos look like nothing. This is Mike McDaniel. He nice to the Broncos. He was the ball boy, but he's always hated the Raiders. All right, he's gonna let it loose on these guys. I like the Dolphins minus 12.5. A nice non-smoke free flight back for the Raiders.
No more Max Crosby cigars. No more of those.
So many cigars in Las Vegas. I'm not sure if you know that, dude. All the pro athletes love the cigars in the Vegas.
Yeah, you beat the Giants in the middle of November. That's not a cigar smoking win. Relax, Raiders. All right. That is the end of our games. We still, though, have to make our top picks of the week. Now, we obviously we go through and choose every single game. We don't suggest that you actually bet on every single game. That's not a winning strategy. But following us on our favorites, our top dogs, and our easy money lines is last week we make 9 total picks that are good picks. We hit 8 of those 9. We know what we're talking about. Listen to us. Take your kids' college fund, turn it into extra dough, send them to med school. Probably they're not good enough to get into med school. Send your neighbor to med school. It doesn't matter. Follow our advice. You will make money. All right. Ben won the kickers quiz. So Ben is going to go first. Ben, please pick your favorite of the week.
My favorite of the week is going to be the Dallas Cowboys over the Carolina Panthers.
Dallas minus 10.5. All right. Your top dog, please.
My top dog is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pittsburgh getting a point.
Good pick. Good pick.
Big dog, huge dog there. Well done. Getting a point.
Yeah.
All right. And your money line pick of the week.
We're just gonna let it ride. We're gonna go with the Denver Broncos. I got them at minus 130.
Denver Broncos minus 130, and I've got them at minus 140, so we'll give you the 130. All right. Minus 130. All right. Tommy, your favorite of the week.
For my favorite of the week, I am going to go with the Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions giving 9 points to the Chicago Bears. All right. Your top dog of the week.
My top dog of the week, I am going to pick the New York Jets.
New York Jets getting 7.5 points at the Buffalo Bills. All right. And the easy money line pick for you.
My easy money line pick, because Ben took them as the dog, I'm going to take the Steelers. I'm seeing plus 100 flat.
That
I got plus 105.
Really, for 1 point? Plus 105? All right. All right. We'll give you plus 105. All right. For my favorite, I am going to go with the Washington Commanders giving 10 points to the New York Giants. For my top dog, I am going to go with the Arizona Cardinals getting 4 points at the Houston Texans. And my easy money line pick, I am going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. I am seeing minus 105. Anybody see anything better than minus 105?
Nah,
For the Rams?
105 is what most.
Yeah, I
sports
see
books are
105
sitting
right
at.
here.
All right. Minus 105 it is. All right. So these are the 9 picks that we recommend you making. Tommy's favorite, the Detroit Lions giving 9 points to the Chicago Bears. We all agree that that's a pretty good line. His top dog, the New York Jets, getting 7.5 points at the Buffalo Bills. And his easy money line. And why did I not type that in? You picked the
Steelers plus 105.
Pittsburgh plus 105. Yes.
Yes.
Pittsburgh Steelers on the road at the Cleveland Browns facing a rookie quarterback who has not looked great. Ben's favorite, the Dallas Cowboys, giving 10.5 points at the Carolina Panthers. His top dog is the Pittsburgh Steelers getting that 1 point at the Browns. His easy money line pick is the Denver Broncos minus 130. I've got my favorite as the Washington Commanders giving 10 points to the terrible New York Giants. I am going against both my cohorts here, and I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals as my top dog, getting 4 points. And I've got the Los Angeles Rams minus 105 over the Seattle Seahawks as my easy money line pick. All right, everybody, we appreciate you tuning in. We know that you have lots of choices with football podcasts. You, however, were smart enough to choose the best one, the one that was 8-1 last week in our recommended picks. You're not going to find that for free anywhere else. So well done to you for choosing such smart people to follow. So that is where we're going to wrap it up for this week. On behalf of Ben O'Connell in Chicago, Illinois, Tommy Burch in Springfield, Massachusetts, and myself, Kyle Garlett in Denver, Colorado. Our football zen this week that we will leave you with, the great Justin Tucker setting the NFL record with a 66-yard field goal. This happened a couple of years ago, but because we were honoring kickers early in the show, we're going to honor kickers as we go out.
Against the Snoil, correct?
It was indeed against the Snoil. You are correct. Well, you'll watch the video if you haven't seen it. It's fantastic. Justin Tucker, the best kicker in the league, with the longest kick in the history of the league. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Happy betting.
Peyton Manning's still a Bronco.
This is for an NFL record 66 yards. On its way. It bounces off the crossbar, and it's good!
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness!
Oh my! Did that just happen, Greg?
What a kick!